Hi, Mr. Carsey here. Here's a problem involving Sean solving a quadratic equation. He's reached this stage where he's got his two solutions, x equals 3 plus or minus the square root of 37 over 2. And the question asks us, what was his equation? So let's look at what we know. We know the quadratic formula. Now that solves any quadratic equation. ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. And it tells us that there are two solutions. And we get these by doing negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac, the whole thing divided by 2a. So there's two possibilities, either adding this or subtracting this. Now let's compare that with the stage that Sean's reached. He's reached a stage where he knows the two solutions are 3 plus or minus the square root of 37 over 2. So we can now have a look at bits in this formula that we can compare. For instance, that negative b and the 3. We can compare the b squared minus 4ac with the 37. That's the thing under the square root sign. And we can also compare the 2a with the 2. So let's start with the negative b and the 3. See what we can do with that. So we know that negative b is the same as 3. Let's multiply both sides by negative 1. And that therefore gives us b equals negative 3. So we've found out what b is. Let's tackle 2a and 2. 2a would have to be the same as 2. And we'll divide both sides by 2. And we'll get a equals 1. And then the other, more complicated one, is that b squared minus 4ac, that's the expression underneath the square root sign. Well, Sean's ended up with 37. So that must be equal to 37. But we'd know what b is, and we're supposed to be squaring it. Now, if you take negative 3 and square it, you get 9. Next, we know that a is 1. So instead of 4 times a times c, we can say 4 times 1 times c. And 4 times 1 is just 4. So that's 4c. Well, so far so good. So let's take away 9 from both sides. 9 from 37 is 28. And now at this stage we want to get rid of this negative 4 times the c, so let's do the opposite. Let's divide both sides of the equation by negative 4. So that negative 4 disappears and we're left with c being equal to, well, positive divided by negative will give us a negative answer, and 4 into 28 goes 7. So that appears to be what c is. So what was his equation? ax squared, well, a was 1, so it's 1x squared plus bx. Well, b is negative 3, so that's negative 3x. We're adding negative 3x. That's just like putting negative 3x. Plus c. c is negative 7. Add negative 7. That's just negative 7. Now, if you're wise, you could check that you're working as correct. Let's use the quadratic formula. Negative b, that's negative of negative 3, that's 3, plus or minus the square root of b squared, that's negative 3 squared, that's 9, minus 4 times a, that's 1, times c, that's negative 7, divided by twice a, that's 2 times 1. So that gives us 3 plus or minus the square root of 9, and there's 2 negatives there, that's plus, and 4 sevens are 28 over 2. And 9 plus 28 does give us 37. So we're getting 3 plus or minus the square root of 37 over 2, and that's as it should be. So I think we've discovered Sean's equation. Well, that's Mr. Corsi signing out, and thanks for watching the video.